Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first session for the subject Empowerment Technologies. And today, we will talk about Introduction to Information and Communication Technologies. So, to begin with, let us have a short prayer for today. Let's bow our head, close our eyes, and feel the presence of the Lord. Dear God, thank you for this wonderful morning that you have given unto us. Maraming salamat po for this new opportunity na ibinahagi mo po sa amin. Lord, our prayer for today is give us wisdom and knowledge so that every lessons and activities that we are going through today will be successful, will be finished. And Lord, dalangin ko po na aking mga students wherever they are, patuloy niyo po silang bigyan po ng matalas na kaisipan upang sa ganun ay mabigay po nila ang pinakamainam po para po sa subject na ito. At higit sa lahat, hindi po nila mapagdamutan ng kanilang mga sarili na matuto ngayong araw na ito. Lord, give them focus and also give them peace of mind as they study this lesson for today. And Lord, dalangin din po namin that continue to guide us in each and every step of the way. This is our prayer in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. Okay, so our topic for today is Introduction to Information and Communication Technologies. But before that, I would like to introduce that our lessons from today up to the end of this session or up to the end of the semester is actually we have this website. You can look at this website. This is created by me. So this is can open using your browsers. So I will just give you the link for this and it will be accessible anytime, anywhere. Okay, so if you want to explore more about empowerment technologies, ayan, meron po tayo ditong mga prepared videos. This is for students of Karuhata National High School. And here is our lessons. Ayan, you can actually access our lessons from lesson 1 up to the lesson that will be the last lesson for the semester. Ayan, so prepared po yan lahat. You can actually advance study if you want. Okay, so for our lessons naman, I will be using my presentation in Prezi. Actually, this is downloadable. If you want to download it, our Prezi presentation is downloadable here in our Google Classroom. Ayan, so I will be posting it after this session. Okay, and our lessons is also written in our modules. So if you have your modules with you or the copy of your modules, ayan, nandiyan po yung atin pong lessons for the entire semester. But now, I will be using my presentation to have a very informative and exciting experience throughout the lesson. Okay, so let's start. So our objective for today is the students will improve knowledge on how ICT affects everyday lives and the state of our nation. The students will be able to compare and contrast between online platforms, sites, and content. The students will be able to understand Web 2.0 features and its future, Web 3.0, and learn the different trends in ICT and use them to their advantage. So to begin with, I want you class to have a self-reflection on the following. Okay, are you a digital native? Ayan, so did you check your phone this morning? Check nyo kung kayo yan. Assess it if you have checked your phone this morning. For sure, bago kayo tumayo sa inyong higaan, unang-una nyong hinawakan ng inyong mga smartphones. Number 2, do you post status updates in Facebook or Twitter or maybe in other social media platforms? Or do you use the internet more than an hour? For sure, students nowadays are actually using their smartphones more than an hour for sure. And do you follow a celebrity via her social media account? So just assess it, write yes on your notebook, or even list it down using your smartphones notebooks, okay, or digital notebooks. Now, let's begin with our first topic. Okay, so let's define ICT. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng ICT? When we say ICT, it is information and communications technology. It deals with the use of different communication technologies such as mobile phones, telephone, the internet, etc. to locate, save, send, and edit information. So for sure, lahat po tayo ay gumagamit po ng smartphones. Maybe some of you is using their tablets o kaya naman they have their uh, desktop computers in their homes. So that means everybody is included or let's say guilty in using ICT. Now let's look about the ICT in the Philippines. According to Philippines as ICT hub of Asia. Look at this graph. This image represents the huge growth of ICT related jobs around the country, call centers or business process outsourcing centers. So 10 years ago, wala naman talaga tayong actually mga mabibilis at malalakas na mga devices that can able to perform or access different websites. And today, di ba, and even before, wala rin naman mga trabaho na pwede nating gamitin yung mga uh, platforms in the internet. Bibihira lang. Actually, yung ito nga pong tinatawag nating mga call centers, 10 years or 15 years ago, hindi ito nag-exist in the Philippines. But look at now, it is one of the highest paid job in the Philippines today. Now, according to this statistics, what the study says, look, 106.8 cell phones per 100 Filipinos in the year 2012. So measuring the information society by the International Telecommunication Union. Imagine 100 Filipinos merong sa isang daang tao sa Pilipinas, meron daw na 106.8 cell phones. So that means some of the people in the Philippines or some of the Filipinos are actually have their phones not just one but dalawa or tatlo or maybe more. So total employment of the Philippines. Yeah, look at this. According to this, 19.3% in ICT industry shares. This is a data gathered by the annual survey of the Philippines business and industries together with NSO in 2010. Now look at this. According to this image, Cebu City, Philippines is one of the selfiest cities in the world. Imagine we have that city has a total of 798,634 in population and then 1,064 selfies by 787 users. 99 selfie takers per 100,000 people. And Cebu City is number 9 or rank 9 as the selfie cities in the world. This is according to Time, ha? According to Time magazine. And for the top one, look, in the Philippines pa din, is actually Makati and Pasig City. Population is 1,127,684 and recorded selfies 4,155 by 2,915 users. We have 258 selfie takers per 100,000 people and this is rank 1. Wow. Look at how Filipinos are really involved in ICT. Now let's talk about Web 2.0. So before we discuss Web 2.0, I would like to give you an idea what is World Wide Web. Okay, or kasi kung may Web 2.0, for sure, iisipin nyo, what is Web 1.0? Okay, so World Wide Web is also known as www or triple W or W3, which is introduced by Tim Berners-Lee in 1989. So it consists of different pages formatted in markup language called HTML or Hypertext Markup Language and linked to each other containing text, graphics, multimedia files, hyperlinks, etc. It can either be static or dynamic. And tinatawag nating static website, that is what we call Web 1.0. Ayan. So Web 1.0, our web pages were static and were called read-only web. Sabihin ng read-only web, that means uh, less yung interaction ng computer to the user. Kasi hindi masyado siyang maraming mga links. So parang magbabasa ka lang halos. Yun yung actually siya. Kaya siya tinawag na flat or stationary page. And users cannot manipulate it. The only accessible feedback mechanism was through private email. Now, what is Web 2.0? Okay, so if yung World Wide Web is coined by Tim Berners-Lee, now Web 2.0 is this term coined by Darcy DiNucci on January 1999 in her article titled Fragmented Future. Actually, she wrote, the web we know now, which loads into a browser window, is in essentially static screenfuls, is only an embryo of the web to come. The first glimmerings of Web 2.0 are beginning to appear, and we are just starting to see how that embryo might develop. Evolution of Web 1.0 by adding dynamic web pages, the user is able to see a website differently than the others. So, kung si Web 1.0 is static or stationary page na parang magbabasa ka lang just like an email, now Web 2.0 is a different one because it has an interaction between the computer and the user. It is called the dynamic website. That means the content of the website changes. Okay, interactive siya in the sense that the user may be able to comment or create a user account. Now let us see what are the features of Web 2.0. We have Taxonomy. So Taxonomy, a user-generated system of classifying and organizing online content into different categories by the use of metadata. So taxonomy allows the users to categorize and classify, arrange information using freely chosen keywords. Again, so it enables users to categorize, classify, arrange information using selected keywords such as ito ang paggamit natin ng hashtag or yung tagging. So popular social networking sites such as Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook use tags or hashtags that start with the pound sign. Okay? So, sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng hashtag na i-direct natin the information that is written in the web. Kasi pag sinabing web, di ba, it's very massive, malawak. So, para mas ma-classify lahat ng information that we are posting, we are using hashtag para mabilis nating mahanap. So, look at Twitter and Facebook or Instagram. Once you have posted on them and then use this hashtag, di ba, nakakount kung ilan yung information that is related to that topic. So, that is taxonomy. Now, another feature of Web 2.0 is what we call the rich user experience. It is a more pervasive, dynamic, and interactive. Okay, so the content is dynamic and is responsive to users' input. An example would be a website that shows local content in the case of social networking sites. So when you log on, your account is used to modify what you see on their website. Another feature is what we called the user participation. the owner of the website is not the only one who is able to put content. So it allows others to place a content of their own by means of comments, reviews, and evaluation. Another feature is what we call long tail services that are offered on demand rather than on a one-time purchase. So this allows availing to time-based pricing over file size-based pricing. Yeah, services are offered on demand rather than on a one-time purchase. So in some instance, time-based pricing is better than file size-based pricing or vice versa. Another feature, we have the software as a service. So licensing and delivery model in which software is licensed on a subscription basis and is centrally hosted. It allows users to subscribe to a software only when needed rather than purchasing them. So users will subscribe to a software only when needed rather than purchasing them. Sabi nga, there is a cheaper option if you do not always need to use the software. And we have this mass participation. Okay, so since most content is based on people from various cultures, mass participation allows users to share diverse information through universal web access. Since most users can use the internet, Web 2.0 content is based on people from various cultures. Now, those are the features of Web 2.0. How about Web 3.0? Let's begin. So Web 3.0, it is described by Tim Berners-Lee, or the father of the World Wide Web, as the read, write, execute web. Again, read, write, execute web. It has been referred to as the Semantic Web. So what does that mean? A movement led by the World Wide Web Consortium, which encourages web developers to include semantic content in their web pages. This means this website provides common framework that allows data to be shared and reused across application enterprise and community boundaries. It aims to have machines or servers understand the user's preferences to be able to deliver web content specifically targeting the user. And this website yet to be fully realized because of several problems that includes. Diba? Imagine how Facebook able to see or analyze or understand the preferences of the users. So for example, you search an item that you want to buy on Facebook, and then after searching that, you will see or you will recognize that Facebook is recommending something that is related to your recent searches. So those are some of the features of Web 3.0. Now let's look at the features of Web 2, 3.0. When it comes to compatibility, HTML files and current web browsers could not support Web 3.0. So make it sure that your browsers are actually updated or the recent versions of browsers. When it comes to security, in question due to machine saving the user's preferences. Ayun nga, sinabi ko nga kaganina na sometimes you will recognize that this computer or website is actually saving the preferences of the users. And I think in security uh, that might harm you, but maybe not sometimes. Like for example in Facebook, only the users can recognize the preferences na nare-recognize nung website na yon, like the Facebook. But the other users will not be able to see the preferences of other users. Now, in vastness, the World Wide Web already contains billions of web pages. That is Web 3.0. When it comes to vagueness, and certain words are imprecise. Let's say the words old and small would depend on the users. What else? Logic. Since machine use logic, there are certain limitations for a computer to be able to predict what the user is referring to a given time. So again, sabi nga, di ba? Yes, we have machines today that is able to understand the preferences of the users. But again, when it comes to, let's say, context, maybe that's one of the weakness of websites or Web 3.0 or machines because again, hindi talaga kaya natin na kaya ng machine na 100% ma-replicate yung characters or the mind of the user or the people using the computers. Now let's look at the trends in ICT. Trends in ICT. So as the world of ICT continues to grow, the industry has focused on several innovations. These innovations cater to the needs of the people that benefit most from ICT, whether it is for business or personal use. These trends are current front runners in ICT innovation. Okay. Social network sites that allows connecting people with the same interest or background. Once a user creates his or her account, he or she can set up a profile, add people, create groups, and share content. And a good example of social networks are Facebook and Google. We also have, as a type of social media, we have bookmarking sites. By the way, let me just clarify some things. Okay, so trends in ICT, we have the convergence. When we say convergence, technological convergence is the synergy of technological advancements to work on a similar goal or task. We also have the mobile technologies, which has taken a major over the years due to devices capability to do tasks that were originally found in personal computers. We also have the assistive media or non-profit designed to help people who have visual and reading impairments. A database of audio recordings is used to read to the users. So sila yung mga ginagamit sometimes ng mga tao that has disabilities. Like for example, cannot read. People who are not able to read nowadays, there are media or technologies that is able to read for the users. So may mga ganun ng mga trends ngayon. And let's proceed to the social media, which is technological convergence, is the synergy of technological advancements to work on a similar goal or task. Social media is a website or application or online channels that enable web users to create, co-create, discuss, modify, and exchange user-generated content. So, types of social media is yun na nga yung nauna kaganina, which is social networks, and number two is bookmarking sites. So bookmarking sites, these are websites that allow storing and managing links to various websites and resources. Most of the sites allow users to create a tag for others to easily search and share. A good example of bookmarking sites is yung tinatawag nating Pinterest and Stumble Upon. Another type of social media is yung social news. So these are websites that allows users to post their own news items or links to other news sources. Users can also comment on the post and comments may also be ranked. They are also capable of voting on these news articles of the website. So those who get the most amount of votes are shown most prominently. Example of this is yung Reddit and yung Dig. Next is we have media sharing. Okay, so from the word sharing, these are websites that allows users to upload and share media content like images, music, and video. So for images, we have the Flickr. For music, we have YouTube, we have Spotify, and for video also we have YouTube. And for images, Instagram, you can also post video for that, right? We also have microblogging. So microblogging are websites that focus rather on short updates from the user with subscribe that are able to receive these updates. Example is Twitter and the Plurk. Okay, so look at the Twitter, 'di ba? Pagka nag-post ka, medyo limited lang talaga yung kanilang pagpo-post. 'Di ba? So that is an example of micro blogging. Very little amount of information is being shared from the word micro. We also have blogs and forums. So these are websites that allow users to post content. Other users are able to comment on the said topic. So these are several free blogging platforms like Blogger, WordPress, and Tumblr. On the other hand, forums are typically part of a certain website or web services. And nowadays, forums or blogs are actually evolving, 'di ba? Dati website lang 'yan. Nowadays, it is not just a website that has written text. Now we have videos na, 'di ba? Kaya tinatawag na silang mga vlogs or video blogs. So those are the things that are trending in information and communication technology. Okay. So that ends our session for the introduction to information and communication technologies. If you have your questions, you can type your questions on the comment section and I will be giving you answers on that on next meeting. Okay? So for today's activity, for today's written task, ayan, look at your modules. So please answer the lesson 1. Okay, from the what I know. Ayan, okay? So answer this activity number 1 and activity number 2, which will be a word search. You are going to search the words that are related to ICT. Write it down and also encircle or write a vertical line or horizontal or diagonal. Answer activity number 3 this is visiting websites. So you have to list down 3 websites that you have surfed and its description. Any website, okay? Like for example, um, Facebook for number 1, Facebook. And then write the website facebook.com. That is the website. And then the main description of the website. They say Facebook is a social media platforms that connects people from the world. Oh, yan. For example. So you are not going to use Facebook now because it is an example. So search other websites. Okay? And again, every lessons, ayan, nandito po sa ating module. Next, answer activity number 4. This is web version. So you have to, based on the list of websites you have written in the first activity, identify the web versions of each website. So, and defend your answers by registering on the reason column. Okay, so let's say for example, dun sa nakaraang activity sa taas, activity, di ba nilagay ko is website, is facebook.com. And the web version, I think this is web 3.0. And then reason, bakit siya web 3.0? Okay, so you have to state your reason kung bakit mo siya na-identify as web 3.0, web 2.0, or web 1.0. Okay? And For activity number 5, generalization, in what way ICT is very useful in your studies? Okay, I want you to answer it in 2 sentences or more. Okay? Compare and contrast the implications of varied online platform sites and content. Write down your insights below. For activity number 6, web analysis, you have to differentiate Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3.0. And for assessment, activity number 7, true or false, write true if the statement is correct, and otherwise write false. Web pages that are regardless of the users are referred to static. So if you feel that is true, write true. If you feel that this is false, write false. And for our activity number 8, identification. So write SO if the social media website is a social network. BS naman if the social media is bookmarking site. SN for social news, MS for media sharing, and MB for microblogging, and BF for blogs and forum. Okay? So that ends your written activity. Now, there will be a performance task that will be posted on our Google Classroom. Okay, so please don't forget to add your classmates and add yourself, most importantly yourself, to our Google Classroom. Now, I am posting our lesson 1 to 5 classes. These are the links for the Prezi and for our uh, website. Ayan, nilagay ko na rin siya dito. You can click either Prezi or sites. But if you don't want to download it, you have your modules printed na binigay sa atin dun sa ating pong school. Okay? So I will just posting it, and you for sure today, as of the moment, you will be notified po sa inyo pong Google Classroom. Okay? So if you have your questions, again, please don't hesitate to ask or raise your questions on the comment section, because your teacher is more than willing to assist you. Again, this is Sir Ace, your teacher for Empowerment Technologies. Goodbye and see you next meeting.